Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 12th of June. Reading through Deuteronomy with Robert Murray McShane in chapter 17, he speaks about one day when the people of Israel have settled in the land. If they are going to appoint a king, they need to make sure that he's one of their number and that he walks with the Lord. And in verse 18, he told, when he takes the throne of his kingdom, he is to write for himself on a scroll a copy of this law, taken from that of the Levitical priests. It is to be with him, and he is to read it all the days of his life, so that he may learn to revere the Lord his God and follow carefully all the words of this law and these decrees. And as I read that, I thought, what a wonderful beginning to your reign. Imagine if the leaders of today's world had to sit and write out a copy of the law, the first couple of books of the Bible, even if they just had to write out the 10 Commandments a couple of times and some of Jesus' teaching. And I think that would change the king's reign. That would change the way rulers rule. And it should change the way we live as well. Now, I don't necessarily think there's anything particularly helpful in just writing out a copy, because copies are copies. But the idea is that you will copy it, you'll make yourself a copy. And in the day that they were writing, there weren't printers, there weren't copies available. Every single manuscript had to be handwritten. And so if you wanted a copy, either you had to pay a lot of money for someone else to copy it, or else you had to do it yourself. And so they're saying to the king, you need to do it yourself. Go and get a copy of the law, get a copy of the Bible. Fortunately, we don't have to write it out, but it's so helpful to have a copy of the law that God has given, the words that he's spoken in the pages of Scripture, but then also that it can be with us and that we are to read it all the days of our life and learn to revere the Lord our God and shape our lives in accord with what he says. What a wonderful foundation for any reign. What a wonderful foundation for any country. And it's a foundation for our individual lives as well. So even though we may not be the kings of Israel, even though we may not have any kind of authority in the world, the fact that we are God's people, it is always good to have a copy of his word and to read it, to learn to revere him, and to let his word shape and direct us in our ways. That way, we're walking in accordance with his word, and as we do that, we know that he will be with us and bless us with his abundance. Keep well. And a note, I've got some family commitments tomorrow, so there will probably not be a Midday Mull on Friday. Be blessed.